Greetings. I hope this message finds you all in good health and in good spirits. I just want to touch and tell a quick story real quick. Because of all of the discussion about police brutality, black police officers, white police officers, young black men, and so forth. I was a young black man at one point, and I do have a story to tell. I lived in a lot of different places. I went to many high schools. I went to 3 different high schools in 3 different states, but I did graduate high school, Benjamin Elijah Mays, in Atlanta, Georgia. I made a really good friend when I was in high school, and so we both went to Morehouse right there in Atlanta, and we agreed that we were going to be roommates. Somewhere around freshman week or so, we went to take some guys from campus to do some real Atlanta stuff. Now, one guy was from Buffalo, the other guy was from Cleveland, and those are cities where people, you don't want to always be on the college set. You kind of want to see the real. Now, my roommate knew the city well, and I happened to have a car. So we take off, and we end up near a high school party that was in a strip mall. But when we got next to it, there was this massive brawl. And in the 80s, boy, it was a lot of brawling in high schools. Boy, Mays and Douglas, Lord of mercy. That's a whole nother sheet of stories. But we didn't want any part of the fight, but we did want to be close because we knew it was going to be some girls, and we just freshmen, so we not out of line to be around 18-year-old girls or whatever. So we go to the Burger King next door, and as we approach the Burger King next door, the police tell us that the Burger King is closed. But we think because we're in college that we're separate from what's going on in the next parking lot. So one of the cops, black cop, picks my roommate up by his neck. I mean, his feet are dangling off the ground. And my roommate then grabs his hands like this, right? He's being choked. And he wasn't trying to fight the cop or anything like that, but his natural reaction was to grab his hand. So that cop in turn threw my roommate onto the corner of a hood of a car that was driving out of the drive-thru. And so he got himself together. We walked back to the car. Now, my car was old. You got to remember, this is 1989, and my car was old. I drove a 1982 Datsun/Nissan Sentra. So there are no power locks is the reason why I'm detailing the car. I take my key, I open the driver's side door. I then manually unlock the driver's side back seat door. I sit down in the driver's seat, lean over, unlock the back passenger seat, and then I unlock the passenger door. Everybody files in except my roommate, who's sitting shotgun. He opens the passenger door, and we all hear a voice and turn to look. When we all turn to look, the other cop punched my roommate squarely in the face. I'll never forget the silence on that ride back to the dorm. All that you could hear in that car was sniffling. Everyone was so angry and hurt. We were broken that night as a unit. 4 different men, young men, from different places. And so I only bring that up to let it be known. The media is enjoying dragging these 5 black cops out. And I'm saying anybody who does police brutality, independent of your color, you need to go and face the full of it. But to the media, American media is acting like black people are the face of police brutality, and that's not the case. But it's also not new. It's also not new. I bet you thousands and thousands and thousands of young men who are my age, who grew up, who were young teenagers in the 80s during the crack epidemic and all that kind of stuff, we all end up laying on the pavement being mistreated by police, some of whom were black. So it's not the race of a police officer. Please believe that. It is the police that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be changed. That's got to change, man. But it's not going to change if y'all going to pretend that black cops are the worst cops out there. They're not. But it's also not these dudes are not an anomaly. We all understand that every force has black cops who are eager to show the white cops that they're not going to be light on young black men who y'all have deemed to be the worst people on the planet since the beginning of all of this. And none of that's true. But I would be interested to hear your stories. Please leave in the comments if you have experienced anything like this, man. I would love to know that we were not alone, man. That was a rough night, and that had to be 40 years ago, bro. 30, not 40 years ago. I'm not 60. My math is bad. But it's still with me. And I just want to know I'm not alone in that. Peace and love.